Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 8. We will going to present about assessing reading.
Okay, before we start the presentation, we will introduce my team. I am Muhammad Mil Salahuddin and my friends is Ninda Sohatul Islamiyah.
The goal from assessing reading. According to Cinder 2005, the goals of administering reading comprehension assessment are to track students' development during reading instruction and pinpoint children who have trouble comprehending a sentence or a text while receiving that teaching. Definition of reading and assessment. Reading is a skill that must be learned when we are going to make a general assessment of language skills. In the process of realizing an efficient reader, a student really needs a strategy which can easily guide students in understanding a reading context. In the reading test, there are many things that we must pay attention to, such as the reading ability component, a number of different types of genres of written text, and the specific texts that they are required usually used in reading assessment. However, the nature of reading itself is something that cannot be observed, so all assessment in reading must be done by means of inference. Next is types of reading. According to Brown, reading can be classified into 4 types based on the length, focus, and process. The first is perceptive reading. In perceptive reading, the main focus is on lower processing, which the teacher only judges on whether students can read letters, words, punctuation mark, and graphic symbols. The second is selective reading. Selective reading itself leads to an assessment made by the teacher on student in lexical and grammatical understanding, but in short range. The third is interactive reading. This type of reading forces the readers to interact with the text, in which the readers should be able to bring a set of schemata to the text for understanding it. The main focus in interactive reading tasks is to identify relevant features, lexical, symbolic, grammatical, and discourse within texts of moderately short length, with the objective to retain the information that is processed. The last is extensive reading. This type of reading is when a reader reads text of more than a page. For instance, professional article, essay, technical report, short story, and books.
Okay, for next is micro and macro skill for reading comprehension. In the micro, we have much, but I will explain 3 micro skill for reading. The first is we can recognize grammatical word class. For example, noun, verb, and etc. Jadi yang pertama, ketika kita membaca itu kita bisa memahami kata-kata tersebut kelas dan mengelompokkannya. Contoh, oh ini termasuk noun, oh ini termasuk noun, oh ini termasuk verb. For the example, Budi read the book. From Budi, it is a noun, and read, it is a verb, and the book, it is a noun. And the next is recognize a core of words and interpret word other patterns and their significance. And for the next is discriminate among the distinctive graphemes and orthographic patterns as differentiator in character system. For example, letters, numbers, and symbol. And for orthography, it is a sistem ejaan suatu bahasa atau gambaran bunyi bahasa yang berupa tulisan, including spelling, capitalization, punctuation, and extract. For the example, Rudy 5 apple. Dan kita dapat mengetahui mana yang number, letter, the word. Dan kita juga dapat menentukan di mana kita harus mengasih koma, spasi, dan lain-lainnya. Okay, next is macro skill. In the macro skill have 3 points. The first is from describe events, ideas, and etc. Infer links and connection between events, deduce causes and effect, and detect such relation as main idea, supporting idea, new information, given information, generalization, and exemplification. Is distinguish between literal and implied meanings. Seperti yang kita tahu, makna itu ada dua, makna yang tertulis dan makna yang tersirat. So it is in this macro skill we can analyze it is in the text. When we read in the text and we can analyze it is using literal meanings or implied meanings. We can analyze that when we read all of the text and understand about the text. And the last is develop and use a battery of reading strategies such as scanning and skimming, detecting discourse markers, questioning the meaning of words from context, and activating schemata for the interpretation of text. So in the because when we use scanning, kita dapat cepat untuk mendapatkan jawaban tersebut daripada kita harus membaca semua teks. For the next is designing assessment task. In the designing assessment task, we have more design tasks. The first from the perceptive reading, we have for the first is reading aloud. So reading aloud is first is reading aloud. So reading aloud is membaca dengan keras. Jadi the teacher instruct the student to read the text aloud based on the book, the text, and based on the book, the text. And the next is written response. In the written response, the teacher instruct the student question and write the student question and write the answer in the paper. And the next is multiple choice. As we know, we familiar about multiple choice. So the multiple choice is the model of task. The teacher give four or three choices, and the student can choose the best answer between the four choices. And the last is picture quote items. So the last is picture quote item. The teacher give a picture and the student have 5. The first is multiple choice, same with in the perceptive reading, and the 4 is picture quote test, similar with the picture quote items, but in the picture quote test the teacher give the task based on the picture. And the last is the teacher gave the sentence, but it is in the one sentence have kayak kata bolong, kata blank, seperti kosong di tengah-tengah gitu. Jadi nanti the student fill the blank in with the correct answer. And the next, in the interactive reading, have 1 2 3 4 5 7 point. The first is close test is the test. The test the teacher give a picture, and the picture have the blank in the sentence. So the student the teacher instructs the student to fill the blank. The next, impromptu reading and comprehension. A familiar design when we learn in Bahasa Indonesia, in the exam of the course Bahasa Indonesia, we can see the text, the text, so the student can read that for answer the question. The next is short answer test. This is a popular alternative for multiple choice. So it is designed, the teacher give the some question with the short answer. Jadi dari pertanyaan yang dipaparkan oleh guru atau yang ada di buku itu, muridnya itu jawabannya hanya sedikit. So the name is short answer. The next is, in the editing longer text, is the teacher gave some sentence and the student can analyze for the sentence. For the example, analyze the grammar or etc. The next is scanning. This is a strategy used by all readers to find relevant information, or this is a focus on, we can quickly get the information we need the information we need. And the next is ordering tasks. We can, the teacher gave some sentence, and the student must make a short cerita, short story from the sentence. And the last is information transfer, reading charts, maps, graphic, and diagram. This is a interactive and interesting design, so we can use a diagram, maps, or multi-flow. So this is the reading design can make the student interest, not boring, because we can learn reading with the media, the interactive media. Next is extensive reading in 3 points. The first is skimming test. So in the text, we can read the task, and we can search the answer for the task quickly. And the next is summarizing and responding. So the teacher can instruct the student to summarize some article or some books. And the last is note taking and outlining. This is a process for the student to make some article or book, so the student can make note taking or outlining. This is a main point for the article and the book. And the last is issue for reading, for assessing reading. The most recent issue we can explain two. The first is word recognition. As you know, some student we cannot recognize the word, letter, and the sentence. We cannot get a difference between letter, word, and sentence. Grammatically processing. Some students also have difficult in reading properly and correctly. So such as where to cut off words, where to continue reading, and many others. Jadi the student tidak bisa membaca dengan intonation, the correct intonation. For the example, Budi membaca buku, itu kan harusnya dibaca langsung gitu. Itu kan harusnya dipenggal, bisa Budi membaca buku. Siapa yang membaca buku? Ya Budi gitu. Jadi kayak the student must be expert in reading intonation, reading can space between two sentence and other.
I will answer the question. The first question is, explain about the reader's misunderstanding about schemata. The relationship between reading and schemata lies in the cognitive process of meaning the concept contained in the text by utilizing knowledge or background knowledge about the text being read, both in the form of linguistic knowledge, vocabulary, phrase, and other language elements including punctuation. According Piaget, explained that developing schemata aims to address important issues he already knows with thought process. Piaget's statement thus but not else involves a process of assimilation and accommodation. Thus, the schemata in reading is an interactive communication process involving background knowledge of the language, vocabulary, and the organization of ideas. The structure of the text influenced by the process of assimilation and the process of accommodation in order to understand the text being read. The next question is why you can interact with the readers in interactive reading. Reading is interactive. The mind of the reader conduct a dialogue, actively engages with the text to decode, assign meaning, and interpret. The reader applies prior knowledge of the word to this act. There is a message to be conveyed or constructed.
Okay, for the next question from Mas Kovin. The question is, why the intensive reading don't include in the basic types in the presentation? Maybe the intensive reading level is between in the selective reading and interactive reading. So the intensive reading, the student read slowly, and we can analyze the text to understand the main content in the text. So in this last class, di kelas sebelumnya kita sudah belajar intensive reading. Jadi di intensive reading ini kita diinstruksikan untuk membaca dan memahami isi dari bacaan tersebut. For the task intensive reading, we can summarize the text using the bahasanya sendiri gitu. I will explain for the most friendly question. The question is the difference between micro between reading and speaking. Yes, maybe have some similar macro and micro. For the example, the grammatical for the sentence, but in the reading and speaking juga memiliki differences. So in the reading we can micro and makronya itu lebih fokus ke teksnya, but in the speaking, the micro and macro skillnya focus on the student speaks, maybe the punctuation, fluency, and etc.
The last question is, so how do you differ between selective and interactive reading? Identify relevant in lexical and grammatical. Selective reading involves looking a reader's ability to recognize grammar, discourse, features, and etc. This is done with brief paragraph and short reading passage. Assessment involves standard assessment items such as multiple choice, short answer, true or false, and etc. In order to be successful at this level, the student needs to use both bottom-up and top-down processing. Charts and graphs can also be employed. Interactive reading involves deriving meaning from the text. This places even more emphasis and top-down processing. Reading are often chosen from genre that employ implied main idea rather than state. The reading are also more authentic in natural and can include announcement, direction, recipes, and etc. Students who lack background knowledge will struggle with this type of reading regardless of their language ability. In addition, inability to think critically will impair performance even if the student can read the text.